Picture this. The year is 1943, World War II is in full swing, and the US Navy purportedly pulls off an experiment straight out of a science fiction novel. Welcome to the world of the Philadelphia Experiment, a tale as enigmatic as it is controversial. As the story goes, the US Navy, in the midst of the Second Great War, was allegedly conducting clandestine operations. The setting? The Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, an industrial labyrinth humming with the ceaseless energy of war. At the heart of this tale is the USS Eldridge, a naval destroyer escort, which supposedly became the subject of an extraordinary experiment. The goal? To render this formidable vessel completely invisible, not just to the naked eye, but to radar and magnetic devices as well. Imagine the tactical advantage, a warship that could move undetected, striking without warning. This is where our story takes a turn for the bizarre. Some accounts claim that the experiment didn't just result in invisibility. There are whispers of teleportation, of the USS Eldridge disappearing from Philadelphia and reappearing in Norfolk, Virginia, over 250 miles away. And then there are the stories of time travel. Sailors, it is said, found themselves thrust into a temporal vortex, experiencing periods of their past and future in a disorienting blur. These tales, as fantastic as they sound, have fueled the mystery and intrigue surrounding the Philadelphia experiment for decades. Yet, despite the abundance of extraordinary claims, hard evidence for the Philadelphia experiment remains elusive. Official records of the US Navy show no indication of such an experiment. Skeptics argue that the whole story is nothing more than a myth, a product of wartime rumors and sensationalist storytelling. But was this just a figment of overactive imaginations, or does it have a basis in reality? As we delve deeper into the Philadelphia experiment, we find ourselves caught in a web of mystery, where fact and fiction are as intertwined as the threads of time itself. Stay tuned as we unravel this enigmatic tale, piece by piece. As with any great mystery, the Philadelphia experiment has its share of eyewitnesses. Their accounts, however, are anything but ordinary. One of the most notable of these is Carlos Allende, also known as Carl Allen. Allende claimed to have witnessed the event from the deck of the SS Andrew Furuseth, a nearby merchant ship. He painted a picture of the USS Eldridge vanishing in a green fog before reappearing instantaneously in Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away. Allende did not keep his story to himself. Instead, he began a correspondence with Morris K. Jessup, an astronomer and ufologist, in 1955. Jessup was intrigued by Allende's accounts and began to investigate the alleged experiment. It was through this correspondence that the story of the Philadelphia experiment was brought to public attention. Allende's letters to Jessup were filled with vivid details. He claimed that the experiment had catastrophic effects on the crew of the Eldridge. According to Allende, some crew members were found embedded in the metal structures of the ship. Others vanished altogether, and those who survived were driven to the brink of insanity. However, Allende's accounts were not consistent, and his credibility was often questioned. His descriptions of the event varied from letter to letter, and he often contradicted himself. He even admitted later that he had embellished some parts of the story, further muddying the waters of truth and fiction. And then there's the fact that no other eyewitnesses have come forward to corroborate Allende's story. Despite the alleged visibility of the event, no other crew members from the SS Andrew Furuseth or any other nearby ships have confirmed Allende's account. These accounts, fascinating as they are, raise more questions than they answer. As we delve deeper into the mystery of the Philadelphia experiment, we must keep in mind the complexities of eyewitness testimony and the blurred lines between reality and myth. The US Navy, however, has a different take on the Philadelphia experiment. Their stance: it never happened. From the moment the tale of the USS Eldridge and its supposed invisibility surfaced, the Navy has been steadfast in their denial. They assert that on that fateful day in October 1943, nothing out of the ordinary occurred. The Eldridge was merely participating in routine operations, not vanishing into thin air or teleporting to another location. The Navy points to a lack of credible evidence to support the claims of the experiment. They remind us that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and in this case, the evidence simply isn't there. No official documents, no tangible proof, no scientific data, just a handful of accounts that vary wildly in detail and coherence. But it's not just the absence of evidence that the Navy cites in their denial. They also point to the sheer scientific implausibility of the story. The notion of rendering a naval destroyer invisible or teleporting it instantaneously from Philadelphia to Norfolk and back defies our current understanding of physics. Invisibility and teleportation, they argue, belong in the realm of science fiction, not reality. Moreover, the Navy offers an alternative explanation for the routine activities on the Eldridge that day. They were conducting a technique known as degaussing. This process involves wrapping a ship with electric cables and generating a magnetic field to make the ship invisible to magnetic mines, not to the naked eye or radar. This real, scientifically valid procedure might have been the seed for the grand tale of the Philadelphia experiment. The Navy's denial, though, hasn't stopped speculation. Conspiracy theories abound. From government cover-ups to alien technology, the Philadelphia experiment continues to capture our collective imagination. But for the U.S. Navy, it's just another day in 1943, business as usual. The Eldridge was there, visible and present, not cloaked in invisibility or bouncing around the time-space continuum. And so, the debate rages on. Fact or fiction, science or myth? The Navy has made its stance clear, but for many, the allure of the unknown is simply too compelling. The Navy's denial, though, hasn't stopped speculation. Conspiracy theories abound. Let's delve into the science, or lack thereof, behind the Philadelphia experiment. Is invisibility and teleportation even possible? The ideas of invisibility and teleportation have fascinated humans for centuries. They've been the stuff of science fiction, from H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man to Star Trek's transporter. But how do these concepts stack up against the cold, hard facts of physics? Invisibility, for instance, would require bending light around an object so it appears as though nothing is there. This is based on the principle of refraction, where light changes direction when it passes from one medium to another. In theory, if you could manipulate the path of light perfectly, you could render an object or even a person invisible. However, in practice, this is far beyond our current scientific capabilities. Teleportation, on the other hand, is even more complex. Quantum teleportation, a concept that's been proven on a microscopic level, involves the transfer of information about the state of a particle to another location without the physical transportation of the particle itself. It's a far cry from the dramatic teleportation of the USS Eldridge from Philadelphia to Norfolk, as alleged in the experiment. Moreover, the Philadelphia experiment also involves elements of time travel. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time travel would require an object to move faster than the speed of light, a feat deemed impossible by our current understanding of physics. So, if we look at the Philadelphia experiment through the lens of science, we find it riddled with impossibilities. The scientific principles required for invisibility, teleportation, and time travel, as depicted in the story, are currently beyond our grasp. But science is ever evolving, and what is impossible today may not be so tomorrow. Yet, as things stand, the claims of the Philadelphia experiment appear more in the realm of science fiction than science fact. So, if the science doesn't add up, what are we left with? The Philadelphia experiment has become a cultural phenomenon, inspiring movies, books, and endless internet debates. Over the years, the story has found its way into a myriad of creative outlets, and each retelling, each reinterpretation, only adds more layers to this fascinating enigma. In the world of cinema, the story was most notably brought to life in the 1984 film, aptly titled The Philadelphia Experiment. The movie took liberties with the original tale, introducing elements of romance and time travel, thereby further enhancing the intrigue and mystery surrounding the event. Literature, too, has not remained untouched by the allure of this narrative. Numerous books and novels have spun their own versions of the story, each adding their own unique twist. The experiment has found its way into works of fiction, such as Dean Koontz's Lightning and William Gibson's The Peripheral, where it is used as a backdrop for thrilling narratives. Television, too, has often borrowed from the lore of the Philadelphia experiment. Shows like The X-Files and Quantum Leap have referenced the event in their storylines, often using it as a plot device to explore themes of government conspiracy, time travel, and the supernatural. The digital age has given the tale a new platform. Online forums and social media are rife with discussions, debates, and conspiracy theories revolving around the Philadelphia experiment. YouTube channels dedicated to the paranormal and the unexplained often feature videos dissecting the event from every possible angle. Even in music, the Philadelphia experiment has found a place. The jazz trio, the Philadelphia Experiment, chose their name as a nod to the iconic event, showing just how deeply ingrained it is in our cultural consciousness. Whether it's in the form of a blockbuster movie, a gripping novel, a spine-chilling TV episode, or a heated online debate, the Philadelphia Experiment continues to captivate us, keeping the legend alive. The Philadelphia Experiment, real or not, has certainly left its mark on our collective imagination. Despite the denials, the lack of evidence, and the dubious science, the Philadelphia Experiment endures. Why? It's a question that continues to baffle skeptics and fuels the curiosity of believers. The Philadelphia Experiment is a narrative that has held steadfast in the public consciousness for over 80 years. It's a story that's been told and retold, embellished and dissected, denied and debated. But why does the story continue to captivate us? What is it about this tale of invisibility and teleportation that we just can't seem to let go of? Perhaps it's the human fascination with the unknown and the unexplained. We are drawn to mysteries, to the things that lie just beyond our understanding. We crave the thrill of discovery, the exhilaration of stepping into the unknown. The Philadelphia Experiment offers us just that, a tantalizing glimpse into a world of possibilities that defies our understanding of reality. Or maybe it's the allure of the impossible. The idea that a ship could vanish into thin air and reappear miles away, that time travel and teleportation could be more than just science fiction. It's a concept that challenges our perception of the world and the laws that govern it. And then there's the human element, the stories of the crew members, their supposed experiences during the experiment, their alleged suffering in the aftermath. These narratives add a layer of personal intrigue to the scientific enigma, making the mystery all the more compelling. Perhaps it's a combination of these factors that keeps the Philadelphia Experiment alive in our minds. The mystery, the unknown, the impossible, the human element. They all come together to create a story that's as fascinating as it is elusive. And so, the Philadelphia Experiment endures. It continues to intrigue us, to challenge us, to captivate us. And as long as there are mysteries to be solved and stories to be told, it will continue to do so. Maybe it's the thrill of the mystery, the allure of the impossible that keeps the Philadelphia Experiment alive in our minds. So, where does this leave us? Is the Philadelphia Experiment just a tall tale, or is there more to it? Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored so far. We began with a mysterious experiment, allegedly conducted by the U.S. Navy in the year 1943, where the USS Eldridge was supposedly made invisible to enemy devices. A tale of time travel and teleportation that sounds more like a science fiction plot than a historical event. We then delved into the eyewitness accounts, stories passed down through generations, tales of sailors disappearing and reappearing in a different time and place, and even reports of men being fused into the metal of the ship itself. These accounts, while fascinating, were mostly anecdotal, with no solid evidence to substantiate them. Then, we heard the Navy's denial. The U.S. Navy has consistently refuted the existence of the Philadelphia Experiment, dismissing it as a hoax, a myth, a legend spun from the imaginations of those who thrive on conspiracy theories. Our exploration continued with the science behind the myth. We examined the principles of quantum physics, the theories of teleportation and time travel, and the technological advancements of the 1940s. While science fiction has made these concepts familiar to us, the reality is that even today they remain largely theoretical. We then looked at how the Philadelphia Experiment has been immortalized in popular culture. From books to movies, the story has captivated audiences worldwide, adding layers of intrigue and further blurring the line between fiction and reality. And finally, we touched on the enduring mystery of the Philadelphia experiment. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the story persists, a testament to our fascination with the unknown and the unexplained. So what conclusions can we draw about the Philadelphia experiment? On one hand, we have a story that defies the laws of physics as we know them, with no hard evidence to support it, and a categorical denial from the supposed perpetrators of the experiment. On the other hand, we have a tale that has survived for over 80 years, fueled by eyewitness accounts and popular culture. In weighing the evidence, or lack thereof, it's difficult to definitively state whether the Philadelphia experiment is myth or reality. Perhaps it's a bit of both. Perhaps it's a story born from a kernel of truth, then embellished and expanded upon over time. Or perhaps it's a complete fabrication, a fantastical tale spun from the threads of wartime paranoia. In the end, the Philadelphia experiment remains one of history's most tantalizing enigmas, a mystery that continues to captivate us, whether it's fact, fiction, or somewhere in between.